Thank you. Thank you, Gautam. Very good morning. Good morning to all. By the time you should have studied Modern India, I hope so. You should have studied at least completely and even attended mains test also. And you by the time you should know the practical difficulties plus minus everything. The purpose of this session is even to have one-to-one communication, even though question may be specific to a single person, but definitely it will be helpful for all. That's the advantage of like this platform. Definitely this will be helpful. So for next 2 years, that's 2 hours, what you have to do is, even though the questions are very specific, that too from one person, you wait and here, right, that one, and definitely you will get even little bit information, even if it is that's advantage. So do one thing, complete end of the sessions, be there. Second thing, take the Modern India class notes, Spectrum book, and the 12th NCERT book. With that you come, so that you get an entire idea about that. So all should have my class notes, Spectrum book, as well as 12th NCERT. Preferably the old. Even if you have new, good. So have it. And if you have any doubts, first 10 minutes, I wish to share some information which I missed in that classes. I hope almost all participants, all right, I think so, nearly 300 or 400 are join in the meeting. Hope so. So first 10 minutes, here 10 to 15 minutes, I want to add some topics. Have you taken Spectrum book? Taken? Yes. So if you have taken, yes. You go through a topic, yes. Definitely, it will be louder. I'll increase my voice. I hope by this time, my voice is okay by this time. Yes, right. Here, first 10 to 15 minutes, I would like to say some information, additional information. I'll take the Congress session. Near the page number 800 or 700, if you take, first you take that content. In that content, it's mentioned that Congress sessions, important Congress sessions are mentioned. You go to that important Congress session, that chapter. You all search it in the Spectrum book. It will definitely be there after 700 or 800. First, I will give important Congress sessions. Then I will ask the questions, get the questions from you. Yes, page 824, exactly right. Yeah, one by one. Definitely, if you have put, right, your queries, put it in the chat box also. Otherwise, you can definitely come, active and passive resistant. Definitely, I will come. Okay, so here, after taking that, what are all the important? Because once in 2 years or once in 3 years, questions are being asked related to this sessions, right? Congress sessions. Definitely once in 2 or 3 years, you have questions. Okay, first you go through. First 4 sessions are important. Go through that first 4 session. 1885, 86, 87, 88. First is Bombay, so and so. All the first 4 sessions, kindly by heart all the information. If you see the session, first year, second the place, third the president, who was the president, and the fourth one, the important resolutions or important thing had taken or not. So all the first 4 place is important, right? Even what happened is important. What happened here is, if you see the first session, it's very interesting. Really, I like this. If you see the first session, how many people attended the Congress session in the first? Type it. Yes, exactly. 72 people just attend. Just see that. Just 72 people attended the Congress session. our institute classroom is much more enough to conduct a All India Congress session in 1885. But imagine now, if 2020, if a Congress session to be held means you need at least a mini city. Lakhs of people would throng into the Congress meeting. So that is the humble origin of the starting of an organization called Congress. This is the way you have to write it in mains. Preliminary wise, just 72 members in 1885 attended past session Bombay, that's all. But in mains, right, how rise of Congress as a national organization is, in the first session, just 72 people attended, but gradually started to rise. This is the way, right, 72 members just attended. And even, do you know, among the 72 more number of members and participants are from a single province. From which province more number of people mean? From Madras province. Note it down. Don't write separately. You try to add in the spectrum book itself. These are all additional information. Additional information. So write it in spectrum book itself. That's the first important. Right. And if you see the leaders, first 4 sessions leader, first you see W.G. Banerjee. Second thing is Badruddin Diabji. Right. Third, Badruddin Diabji. Third is Dadabhai Naoroji. Third is Badruddin Diabji. And the fourth one is George Yule. So first W.C. Banerjee, a Hindu. Second is Dadabhai Naoroji, a Parsi. Third is Badruddin Diabji, a Muslim. Fourth is George Yule. George Yule. Right? George Yule, a Christian. If it is so, different people from different thing. That's the significance. That's the significance of this. It means that from the day one itself, as I said, no, right, you have to go to the Congress session. From the Congress session, you have to write it, right? So here, the first 4 were from 4 different religions. It means that from the day one itself, Congress as a secular organization. Write that point in the Congress session. Write that session. These are all the points will be helpful for writing mains. Even though if you forget to mention all the Congress leaders, right, these kinds of points, yes, Congress as a secular organization, Congress as an all India organization, I'm right, representing all the people. Likewise, you have to write it as a subtopic in mains. Got it? So that's the important thing. Yes. Next. So first 4 sessions were over. So one question that whether the from Bombay so many people, I will recheck it. If it is such a doubt, right? If it is such a doubt, definitely I will. Yes. So this is what related to the Congress. Any doubts? So many joined late actually. Many joined very late. That's why you couldn't. That's why you are in Congress session. Keep it in mind. Take spectrum book and go to the Congress sessions page. And in that page, you have to write the same thing. Okay. These are all the important thing. Yes. And next thing, you straight away come to the Congress session. Page number 827 or 824, you go through in the spectrum book, you will get information. Yes. Next thing is gradually you see that. Yes. Another important thing we will discuss. One asked is merger of National Congress and National Conference. Exactly. So one asked this question. So what is Indian National Congress? What is Indian National Conference? Super. This is expected question. So here I am going to discuss one of the expected preliminary question. So open the topic Indian National Conference. Very good. One by one I will discuss. Okay. Put your question. Then I will Indian National Conference. Okay. Now I come to you. What is the Indian National Conference? Congress wise, you know very well. What is Indian National Conference is? It is a conference, right? It is a conference right, held by Indian Association. Note it down. It is a conference which was conducted as was held by Indian Association. Who are the founder of Indian Association? Type. If you have studied, definitely you should know by this time. Who founded Indian Association? Yeah, Surendranath Banerjee. Another is Anand Mohan Bose. Exactly right. So we already studied that Indian Association, the most famous association before Indian National Congress. So started by Surendranath Banerjee. Exactly. Super. Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose. Actually, this is very interesting. I expect this year question or next year question. This Indian Association, right, conducted Indian National Conference. Note it down. That is Indian Association conducted Indian National Conference in 1885. It's a very interesting thing. In 1885, December month in Calcutta. December month in Calcutta. Understood? So December month in Calcutta, right, they conducted. Actually, do you know Congress session? If you take the Congress session, every year Congress session was held. All the Congress session would be held in December month. So near the Congress session, you write it. So all the session would be held in December month. It's the first point. That too in December month, what is the date? Last week, last 3 days. Last week, last 3 days. That is 29, 30, 31. So if it is a Congress session means, right, every year, last month, last week, last 3 days. Okay. So every year, especially 1885 Congress session was held at Bombay. But in the same days, in Calcutta, Indian National Conference was held. So when Congress was holding its first session, conference, Indian National Conference was holding the first session. That too, Surendranath Banerjee attended the conference. He couldn't attend the Indian National Congress. This is the expected question. Expected preliminary question. So Indian National Congress, 1885, 1886, 1887, December month. But Indian National Conference, its first session was held in 1885 at Calcutta. Alright, Surendranath Banerjee, Anand Mohan Bose, and other people participated. That's why it's very interesting. Listen, yes, listen. Indian National Conference, especially Surendranath Banerjee, a great stalwart of Indian National Congress, couldn't participate in the first session of Indian National Congress. So note it down. So because of this reason, right, Surendranath Banerjee couldn't participate in the first session of Indian National Congress. Next year, definitely it will be asked. Okay? Yes, that's all over. Conference is over. But later what happened is, subsequent session, listen, that is the answer. Subsequent session, what happened is, Indian National Conference and Indian National Congress joined together. Both joined together. Keep it in mind. So that's why you should know what is Indian National Congress, you know. Next thing is Indian National Conference. Am I right? Indian National Conference. In subsequent session, 1886 onwards, what happened is Indian National Conference and Indian National Congress merged together. Then Anand Mohan Bose, Surendranath Banerjee, whoever the leaders of Indian National Conference, right, joined together, and especially Surendranath Banerjee became the great leader of the moderates. That is the initial session of the Congress. Yes. So this is what regarding this. So that's all. So one side, yes. Yeah. One student, Archana, mentioned it. Right. Indian National Conference had two sessions, 1883 as well as 1885. Exactly right. It had two sessions. So in the chat box, if you see, right, a student, Archana, mentioned that it had two sessions. Exactly. Its first session happened in 1883 itself. Its second session happened in 1885. Exactly. Right. And the 1885 session only, right, it was coincided with the first session of Indian National Congress. But Indian National Congress first session happened in Bombay. Conference second session happened in, that is, Calcutta. Right. So happened twice. Indian National Conference held twice, 1883 and 1885. What Archana mentioned in the chat box is right. Oh, it's a private, I think so. Okay. Super. Now you come down. Second session, where was held second session? No, all take Spectrum book. Yeah, everything is there in Spectrum book. Right? Spectrum book, it's there. Only additional point alone I am discussing. All the remaining points are there in the Spectrum book. So second session, third session, fourth session, of the Indian National Congress, you all knew such information. Okay. Next, straight away come to 1 minute. No, absolutely wrong. This Indian National Congress, social, no. Indian National Conference and Indian National Social Conference are different. Indian National Conference by this Indian Association. Indian National Social Conference by G.K. Gokhale, I think so. That people are entirely different. M.G. Ranade, that groups. Right, M.G. Ranade, later G.K. Gokhale, that groups are different. Okay. Then 1885, Bombay or Calcutta, which session? One student asked it, right, which session? 1885, Bombay or Calcutta? Indian National Congress or Indian National Conference? Yes. Conference first session held in Calcutta. Indian National Congress held in Bombay, conference held in Calcutta. Yes, that's all. Next is, you come. 1896. Go through 1896. Where was the session held? Yes, Calcutta. Right, Calcutta, exactly. 1896 session, right, Calcutta, right. In that 1896 session, only first time, right, national song was recited in a Congress session. Note it down. National song. Yeah, Bande Mataram, exactly. So Calcutta, only in 1896, right, the Bande Mataram song was first recited in a Congress session. In a Congress session. Only one thing, any other noise from my side, except my voice? Any other noise? Any humming? Any other? Yes. That's why. Wait. I think now you don't have such a sound. Okay. So here, 1896 Calcutta Bande Mataram. Yes. Now it's very important. Who composed Bande Mataram? The song. Bande Mataram by Aurobindo Ghosh. Absolutely wrong. Who composed 1896? That's Bande Mataram. Who composed it? Rabindranath Tagore. That's a very basic question. Not Rabindranath Tagore. Yeah, it is a Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Yes, one person mentioned that Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Yes. Chandra Chatterjee. Yes, in his, not newspaper, in his book, Anand Mad. Anand Mad. The book name is Anand Mad. ANANDMATH. Anand Mad. This is already UPSC question. Yes, Anand Mad was published. Exactly right. Right. So it's a very important topic. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, Anand Mad in that. Okay. What's the other thing of Anand Mad? These are all very, very important. Anand Mad is important. Yes. It also mentioned about Sannyasi rebellion. Exactly. So Anand Mad mentioned about the Sannyasi rebellion. Right. Sannyasi rebellion. Right. What's the significance is it is a first revolt against the British in India. No Sandals, nothing. Yes. Right. No Sandal, nothing. So Sannyasi rebellion is the first ever rebellion. Right. It in 1770s, not 1763. In 1770s, they revolted. Exactly in 1771, 72. Right. During that period, the Sannyasi revolted. Right. It reflected that Sannyasi revolt. Right. While mentioning about the Sannyasi revolt only, right, he mentioned that song that is Bande Mataram. Actually, it is a Bengali version. In Bengali, only used to call the Bande. There is no Vande. Vande is that other language, I hope. So, actually, it's a Bande Mataram. In Hindi only, it's a Vande Mataram. Correct? So, here, it's a Bande Mataram. Right? Even if you see that, many sannyasis, who are the sannyasis is, that is a wandering saint are called sannyasis. Because if you become sannyasi, you should not just confine to one places. You have to wander one place after places. But after Buxar, British captured Bengal and they put restriction to the movement, the free movement of the sannyasis. So sannyasi consider my freedom was lost. That's why the sannyasi joined to them and started to fight. That is called sannyasi revolt. That's the reason. Most expected question, already it's a question, UPSC question. Got it? That's an important thing. Yes. So 1896 over. Next, you straight away come to 19. Result was suppressed. The result, the sannyasi revolt was suppressed, completely suppressed. Yes. And next is you come down to 1905. So 1905, 1906, 1907. All the three sessions are important. Mark it. All the three sessions are important. Mark it. All the three sessions. Yes. 1905, if you see that, where was the session? At which place? Yes, Banaras. Banaras, who was the leader? G.K. Gokhale. So Banaras, G.K. Gokhale was the leader. Got it? That's important. Right. So in this session only, Congress decided to start the Swadeshi movement. Even in the spectrum book itself, you could find it. If not there, you add it. Congress decided to start the Swadeshi movement. Okay, that's the significance of starting of Swadeshi movement 1905 session. Okay, come down to 1906. Right, who was the leader of 1906? Calcutta session. Who was the leader? Was Dadabhai Naoroji. Yes, Dadabhai Naoroji was the leader. What's the significance of the Calcutta session is the aim of the Congress was to attain Swaraj. Yes. So that's why I mentioned that in 1906 only, Congress aim was to attain Swaraj. Understood? So that's the aim of the Congress. So till 1885 to 1905, Congress aim was not to attain Swaraj, nor to attain Purna Swaraj. But in Calcutta session 1906, first time Congress wanted to get Swaraj. What is the meaning of Swaraj? Type. Dominion status, or also called self-rule or self-government. Exactly. Yes. Yes, exactly. Self-rule within the British. Yes, yes. So these kinds of words are much more enough for everything, even for prelims, mains, optional. This is much more enough. You have studied lot of informations. Okay, even last time test happened, mains test happened. If you at least able to write some topics, that's enough. You don't need to write almost all exact thing. That's your material. Yes, that's all. 1906. Next, come down to 1907. 1907, Surat split, all knew very well. In that, who was the president of the Surat session? Who was the president? Yes, Rash Bihari. No, Rash Bihari Bose is wrong. Check it, check it. Rash Bihari Bose, exactly. Keep it in mind. If you say Rash Bihari Bose, he was a revolutionary leader. Here is the Rash Bihari Ghosh. That is the difference between Ghosh and Bose. So always keep it in mind. If it is of Bose means always eager to take weapon. Okay. So this is what here Rash Bihari goes. Don't confuse with Rash Bihari Bose. Yes. And now I will ask questions. Since one student, Archana, mentioned Rash Bihari Bose. Who is Raj Bihari Bose? Type. Then who is Raj Bihari Bose? A revolutionary, right? Yes. And he was responsible for, yes, bomb throwing case. Exactly. Not INA. Yeah. He was also considered as precursor to formation of INA. Raj Bihari Bose was Aurobindo Bose brother. I have not come across this. Aurobindo Bose brother, I don't know. Yes, Tokyo Club. So exactly. I hope if you studied these things, you are eligible for mains. Even for optional also you are eligible. Yeah? You have mentioned so many things. Handed over Subhash Chandra Bose. Yes, exactly. So many information you have studied. Actually, this Raj Bihari Bose, BOSC, like Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay. So he was responsible for bomb throwing case. Bomb throwing case to kill Hardinge too. After that, he escaped. After that, he escaped to London. Sorry, escaped to Tokyo. That is in Japan. And in Japan, he started Tokyo organization. He started it. Understood? And it is Raj Bihari Bose who wished to have a separate army for India. Later, Subhash Chandra Bose materialized it in the name of Indian National Army. So you see that Subhash Chandra Bose, even before Subhash Chandra Bose, who was the person, was the Mohan Singh was there. Even before Mohan Singh, who was the person, was that is Raj Bihari Bose. Actually, it was Raj Bihari Bose who was precursor to the formation of Indian National Army. So Raj Bihari Bose, then here is Mohan Singh, and the last one is Subhash Chandra Bose. Over. That's all. Congress session up to 1907 over. And straight away, yes, he was assassinated. 1 minute. Some answered. Trivandrum student. Aurobindo brother was Barendra Kumar Bose. Yes. Yeah. And he was associated with Gadar uprising started. Yes. Exactly. Trivandrum Shruti is also right. Exactly. Supriya is also right. Right. So this is what history are. Right. With this, you know a lot of information. Now you come to straight away come. Little bit slow actually. Okay. I'm very slow. I hope I think. Right. Because within 15 minutes I wish to join. Okay. Actually it's a very slow what I'm doing it. Because one student typed it a little bit slow. Okay. Okay. Right. Next to come to the session. Straight away you come 1911. Yeah, Gadar particulars we will discuss. First, I will complete that session. Okay, the Congress session I will complete. Come to 1911. 1911. Where was the session? Yes, Calcutta. Calcutta. Exactly. What's the significance of this session is first time national anthem was recited in a Congress session. Note it down. First time national anthem was recited. So national song was recited much earlier. National anthem was recited much later, that too in 1911. What is national anthem? Who composed it? You knew very well of this. Yeah, Vishnu Narayanan, the president. Who was the president? You know, right? That's all. 1911 is important. And next to come to the session, again important is 1916. Exactly. Exactly. Both in Calcutta. Right. Come to 1916. 1916 Lucknow session is that much important. Right. So who was the president? Go through that. Ambika Charan Majumdar, the president. Yes. First. Second thing, what's the significance of Home Rule movement? I'll take the spectrum book and you note it down this. What's the significance of this session? Is first point, right, is Congress extremists and moderates joined together. Congress split happened in 1907. That is in Surat session. No, Lucknow Pact is different. That is not Lucknow Pact. So that's why many students are confusing. Right. First, what happened is Congress moderates and extremists joined together. And this is not Lucknow Pact. Lucknow Pact is entirely different. So first is moderates and extremists joined together. Second, a pact happened. Next point, a pact happened between between Muslim League and INC. That is called Lucknow Pact. So many candidates are misunderstanding about the Lucknow Pact. Right? Yes, Lucknow Pact. Lucknow Pact means many are thinking that the joining of moderates and extremists wrong. Joining of extremist moderates happened in Lucknow, but that is not Lucknow Pact. What is Lucknow Pact is? It is a pact between INC and Muslim League. What is the pact mean? As per the pact, INC accepted a separate electorate system given to Muslim League as per which act? Yes, 1909 Act, exactly. So as per 1909 Act that happened, right, that is that Congress accepted the Muslim League's separate electorate system. That's important. So that is called Lucknow Pact. Second, so who was responsible for Congress extremist and moderates unification is because of Annie Besant and B.G. Tilak. Note it down. Tilak and Annie Besant. That you know. Right. Another thing is, yes, Besant and Tilak, extremist moderates union. At the same time, how Lucknow Pact means because of M.A. Jinnah. M.A. Jinnah played a vital role. So M.A. Jinnah and yes, Annie Besant, Tilak joined together, and they were responsible for bringing Muslim League with ambit that led to the Lucknow Pact. That's why, right, Sarojini Naidu, that is later a great leader, Sarojini Naidu, called Muhammad Ali Jinnah as what person is the ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. Likewise, once upon a time, Sarojini Naidu termed M.A. Jinnah as ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. Yes, that's why I said. But now Jinnah was highly in favor of one, but much later only Jinnah wanted for partition. That happened in 1940s, but we are in 1916. Understood? Yes. So that's the significance of here. 1916 is over. Taken, and another important thing regarding this 1916 is that's very important. Both the Congress session as well as Muslim League session held in a same place. The venue is one and the same. If it is a room, the same room. If it is a street, the same street. So same platform, exactly. In the same platform only, both Muslim League and the Congress conducted each session. That's the significance. That's all over. 1916 is so much. After that, not that much, right? And come to 1920. Straight away come to 1920. What's the session? Where was it held? Yes, Nagpur session. In the Nagpur session only, what happened is Congress decided to start non-cooperation movements. Note it down. Yes. So NCM was approved here, non-cooperation movement. Right? Congress approved to start is in which session means Nagpur session. That's the significance. Note it down. Yeah. Next. Come to 1924. Very important session. Where was the session? 1924. Where was the session? Yeah. 19 Belgaum. 1924 Kanpur or Belgaum session? Belgaum session, exactly. Right. 1924 Belgaum session. Who was the president? Very interesting. Who was the president of the Belgaum session? Yes, Gandhiji. So Mahatma Gandhiji was the president of the Belgaum session. So UPSC question. So Gandhiji only once acted as the president of INC. Note it down nearby. Gandhiji only once acted as the president of INC. Question may be asked question. This likewise statement based. Consider the following statement. First one, Gandhiji was never become the president of Indian National Congress. Means wrong. So once, which is session? Belgaum session, Karnataka. Yes, that's important. Next, come to 1925. 1925 Kanpur session. In 1925 Kanpur session, right? Who was the president? Type it. This is already UPSC question. Sarojini Naidu. Exactly. Sarojini Naidu was the president. Yes, is first Indian woman president. Note it down. Underline the word Indian woman president. 2014 or 16, it's a UPSC question recently. So first Indian woman president, but I never said first women president. Keep it in mind. Yeah, I never said first women president. It's a Indian woman president. Then who was the first women president is, now you go to 1917 session. Yes, 1917 session, you go to that Annie Besant. Exactly. Near Annie Besant, you write it, first women president. Super. So 1917, Annie Besant, first women president, but she was a foreign woman, right? That's why first Indian woman is Sarojini Naidu. 2015 or 14 question is, that is exactly question. What is the question is, right? The first Congress woman president was Sarojini Naidu. Is this the right statement or wrong statement? Wrong statement. Exactly. Wrong statement. Correct. Yes. Now one candidate mentioned, Rupesh mentioned. What is Rupesh mentioned is, in 1922 Gandhiji was arrested. Then how he was the president of 1924? Exactly. Gandhiji, it means that he was released. Within 2 years itself he was released. So that's the reason. Yes, exactly. Right? He, because of health ground. Exactly right. Because of health ground he was. Yes. So if you know like this, Archana answered almost all. If you know like this, history is over. You can answer any kind of question. You can get most answer. Right. Next. 1924 over. Next, straight away come to 1927. Yes. One. C.R. Das only person to be held in prison when the session was happening. Yeah, that's also correct. That's also right. And Archana, please repeat the question. First women president. Yes. If it is a first women president, that is Annie Besant. So Sarojini Naidu was the first women president. Right. That was the question. Okay, exactly. 1921, right. C.R. Das was in jail when Ahmedabad session was held. Very good, very good. Then now I come back. 1924, 26, 27. You come to 1927. 1927 is Madras session. If you see the Madras session, what's the resolution Congress did? It means, right, Congress decided to boycott. Yes, decided to boycott Simon Commission. Exactly. So only in that Madras session, Congress resolution to go against boycott, that is anti-Simon protest. Hereafter only anti-Simon protest happened throughout India. Over. 1928 is not important. Last to come to 1927. Myself, I discussed it. Right. Discussed it. What to be repeat? Nikshiti, what to? Last 2 minutes. 1927 session. 1927 Madras session. In that Madras session only, Congress decided to boycott Simon Commission. After that only anti-Simon protest took place. Okay. And Varshika asked, what all the recommend? That's I asked in the classroom. I told in the classroom itself, 4 recommendation I have given. Already given 4 recommendation. And I ask you to go through another 1 or 2 for 1 or 2 recommendations. Okay. Yes. That's important. Yes. Next thing is 1930 no session, and come to 1931. That's important. 1931 is important. 1907, 1908, 1906, 1907. 1 second. Okay. 6, 7. 1906 Congress passed. Congress aim was to attain Swaraj. 1907 Surat split. 1907 myself I have taken in the classroom. That's why I just skipped the 1907 session. If it is session in that taken in the classroom itself, I will skip it. Okay. Next, come to 1931 is very important. Exactly Right, 1931, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the president. This is also expected question. Even when you are writing in 2021, it's expected question. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Karachi session. Karachi session. What's the important thing is, yes, one is Congress adopted fundamental rights. A resolution for fundamental rights. These are all helpful for polity. It should have been taken in polity class itself. So one is fundamental rights. Second thing is new economic policy. Note it down. So Congress passed resolution of fundamental rights, and the second thing is right exactly right the economic right, and the third is Congress said that if it is mass movement, that is for if it is the movement, freedom means it is for the mass, not for the few. So three things. One is new economic policy. Second is fundamental rights was adopted. Third thing is if it is right Purna Swaraj, that is for the all the people, not for few. Okay, and even Archana mentioned that actually what you mentioned, Archana, is exactly 2007. I wrote as a 20-mark question in my optional. In the history optional, this is what exactly the question. Understood? Yes. Right. That's all. First I will complete it, then I come to your question. Otherwise, it's a prolonged one. Right. Once the session is over, that is this Congress is over, then you ask question. That's important. Right. The second thing is one by one we will discuss. 1931. After that, not important. Next, you come to 1936-37, 36-37, 38-39. 36-37, if you see Jawaharlal Nehru. 38-39, if you see, yes, if you see that Subhash Chandra Bose. Actually, this should be the last. With this, I will complete it. Yes. So 38-37, if you see Subhash Chandra Bose, in that 38 session is important, 39 session is important. Both the 38 as well as 39 session. What's the significance of the 38 session? You go through Subhash Chandra Bose was the president. What's the significance is, right, that's a Haripuri session. Right, Haripuri session. Right, yes. What is the significance of Haripuri session is a national, yes, a national planning committee was established. Note it down. A national planning committee. Who was the head of the committee was Jawaharlal Nehru. Yes. Actually, nearby you write it. This committee is the precursor to planning commission. The committee is precursor to the planning commission. Okay, that's important. First, I will go through the committees and everything up to the session. Then I will answer your question. That's important, right? Haripur session, National Planning Committee. This is a precursor to planning commission. And the third, 1939, you all knew very well. What happened is election. Election contest. Election contest for president post. One side is Subhash Chandra Bose. Other side, any idea? Yes. Other side is Pattabhi Sitaramayya. Note it down. So one side Subhash Chandra Bose. Other side, his contestant is Pattabhi Sitaramayya. Pattabhi Sitaramayya. What's the significance of Pattabhi here is he was the nominee of Congress. Yes, nominee of Gandhiji. Pattabhi was supported by Gandhiji, but what happened is here Gandhiji's nominee was defeated. Who was successful person was Subhash Chandra Bose. This is the turning point for Subhash. Now I have to discuss what happened. Listen with this over. So 1939, Pattabhi Sitaramayya was defeated by Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose now become president. Right now there was a great difficulties for Gandhiji, and even Gandhiji accepted it, and he said that quotation. Pattabhi's defeat is my own defeat. He said this statement. And Gandhiji was considered to be honored, and Gandhiji became very sad. At the time only many leaders asked Subhashji, please, you resign from the Congress president post. Not from Congress president post. That way Subhashji, right, dissatisfied. He not only resigned from the Congress president post, he resigned from the Congress itself. And in the very next year, 1940, note it down. In 1940, after resigning from Congress, right, yes, Subhash Chandra Bose started Forward Bloc. That is All India Forward Bloc. So Subhash ji started All India Forward Bloc. That's a very organization. So after that only Subhash was house arrested. This is very interesting. Just listen. All listen. Actually, after this, yes, it's a political party. Yes, Forward Bloc was. Even today, Forward Bloc is there. It is a political party. Even in Tamil Nadu, Forward Bloc is very famous party. Yeah? Whether I don't know, whether it is in famous in Calcutta or no. Supriya is there very famous in Calcutta or in Bengal region. All India Forward Bloc. Now not much. Okay. But in Tamil Nadu, this is a very famous. Even in Tamil Nadu, we do have. Actually, do you know Subhash Chandra Bose had a great link with Tamil Nadu. Especially many leaders here are attached with Subhash Chandra Bose. Right, Forward Bloc is considerably here in Tamil Nadu. So Subhash was house arrested, but Subhash was not normal person. What Subhash, do you know? He escaped. He escaped from his house from Calcutta. How did he escape? Is very important, interesting. Listen, how did he escape from here is as disguised as a Muslim, because Subhash always would have the shaven face. But what happened is, why house arrested? Now only I said, because his organization was dubbed as a revolutionary, that's why he was house arrested. Forward Bloc was dubbed as a revolutionary organization. So he was house arrested, but in the name of Islamic person and with that mustache, beard like this, he escaped from his house and straight away, yes, and straight away went to Germany. In Germany, he met Hitler. Then with the submarine of Germany, he came to Japan, and in Japan, with that help of Japanese Prime Minister, he started INA. This is what entire story of Subhash Chandra Bose I said. So you attended my class. If you studied at least a few in that book, now this session is that highly helpful for you. Understood? That's all. With this, over. Understood? This is what Subhash Chandra Bose related 10-mark question. 2017 mains question. Comparative analysis of Subhash Chandra Bose and Gandhiji. That's a question, right? This is what. Yeah. 1940 over. After that, not that much of session. Especially if you see, after that, so many sessions would not be held. And last, you come to 1947. Right? Who was the president in last session? Type. Yes. J.V. Kripalani. Exactly right. Right. Now question is, right, at the time of independence, that is on the eve of independence, August 15, 1947, who was the president of Indian National Congress was J.V. Kripalani. Okay, that's all. Over. With this sessions are over. Now I will come to your question. Couple of questions have been asked by the candidates. One by one, I will discuss this. Okay. Yes. You see that sometimes one by one I will discuss. Right. Just I will complete it. Right. A couple of questions are already there. Then you type it in your chat box. Otherwise, if you flooded with the questions, what question to be answered at first, then I will forget. Okay. Yes. One student asked it. Why no session in 1937 and another is 1921, I think so. It means that at the time, Congress leader would be in jail. Keep it in mind. Congress leaders would have been in jail. That was the reason no session during that period. It's the first one. Second is One question. Was Annie Besant was involved in home rule movement and also INC president? Yes, yes. Yes, Aravind mentioned that, yes. And the next is one question. Who was Kadambari Ganguly? Yes. Who was Kadambari Ganguly is, right, the first woman graduate from Calcutta University. Note it down. First women graduate from Calcutta University of Kadambari Ganguly. One, she participated in a Congress session, 1892 or 93 session she participated. Apart from that, she was not Congress president. She just participated in a Congress session, that's all. So Kadambari Ganguly was that first woman graduate. She attended as a member, not as a president. Okay. One question. In 1936, there are two sessions. Yes, there are two sessions happen. Actually, it's right answer. Next one answer asked it. Sir, can you please repeat Subhash Chandra Bose and Gandhiji again? My network is interrupted. That is a question. 2017 or 16 mains question. 12.5 mark question. Give a comparative analysis of Subhash Chandra Bose and Gandhiji. That's a question. So we know everything about Gandhiji. Just now I discussed about Subhash Chandra Bose. Now you can go for Gandhiji related. Okay, that question. How to read all statement of leaders? Reformist mentioned. No need to read all the statements of leaders, except what we are discussing. Right? Don't study all. It's suicide attempt. First woman graduate, Kadambari Ganguly. I think we discussed. Yes, one Siad mentioned. Sir, I read in a website that website that Mountbatten hurried the partition because he wanted to pursue his naval career. Is it true? In website, I can't say how far is it reliable. Even Siad, what you said, typed it myself, unaware of that definitely. But in website, so many interpretations are there. But I am not okay with this statement because why Mountbatten hurried the partition is because of untowards communal violence. So many communal violence took place. What is the solution to end the communal violence? Partition. In that way, I studied. But for me also, this is new information. Okay. Next, Archana. Should we ask question? Wait, 1 minute. Should we ask question related to INC or anything? I have question related to socio-religious reform and 1930. No. You can ask any kind. First, I will complete related to INC session, then other part. Okay. Why no Congress session? I answered it. Is post-independent important for this? Yes, much important. Is post-independence. I will come later. That's why I said in the last class, na? I said in the last class, right? After modern India, I will straight away come for post-independence, right? For studying. Again, you ask the question. Why was Gandhi against Subhash Chandra Bose presidential? No. Gandhiji and Subhash Chandra Bose never opponent. Ideological wise opponent. Keep it in mind. Ideological wise opponent, not personality wise, person wise opponent. So Gandhiji ideology is different, Subhash ideology is different. Ideological wise they opposed. For example, if you ask the question, 2420 asked the question, right? You are not my enemy, and I am not your enemy. Only I oppose your ideology. You may oppose my ideology. This is what Indian does not know. For example, even in political leader, today one is in one political party. Tomorrow he joined in another political party. Right? Completely say, actually two leaders are enemies. How did? Two leaders are not enemy. Two leaders ideology are enemy. When the ideology is one and the same, they started to join. That's why political parties leaders are jumping from one political parties to another political parties. People only couldn't understand. We are thinking that personal problem between the two leaders. No personal problem at all. Only ideological problem. When ideology is one and the same, they are ready to join. So don't confuse with personality clash and ideological clash. After 1947, yes, no session. 1947 also no session. Needed to talk. No, not like that, Subhash. But Subri asked question. But sir, why Gandhi made a personal comment against Subhash by saying that Subhash is a spoiled child and needed to be taught a lesson? Okay, actually, even this, even I consider to be not personal. It's an ideology. If it is a personal mean, why Subhash to be called Gandhiji as the father of nation? And even do you know it is Gandhiji who gave the title Netaji? Do you know? It is Gandhiji who gave the title Netaji to Subhash. In turn, Netaji called Gandhiji as the father of nation in 1944-45. Yes, I hope I answered these things. Almost I completed. Now you may ask any doubt clarification session. So hereafter I will come to one by one. Yes. So first question is asked. Wait, first question is asked. Then if I ask the first question, don't put any other question. If you flooded with question, it's difficult. Okay. First question. Right. One asked, what is active? What is active and passive resistant? That's a much old topic. Even myself had discussed a lot of things in classroom itself. What is active resistant is revolutionary way. Active resistant means by means of violence to expel the British, especially Bhagat Singh, V.D. Savarkar, that people resisted actively. But the passive resistance was used by the extremists in the name of boycott. That's a difference between boycott of foreign goods. That's an active resistance and passive resistance. I hope I answered your question. Second, is there any difference between Purna Swaraj in 1929 and 1931 session? No, Purna Swaraj is the same, but 1929 Purna Swaraj is considered to be a political independence. But 1931 Purna Swaraj means not complete independence of political, it includes social and economic. So Purna Swaraj is same. Initially it is considered as political, but later it is extended to social and economic. That is social and economic. Yes, these are all one step ahead of such a thing. Good. Next question. A student asked it. Please explain about Ghadar Party. Yeah, we already discussed, no? Ghadar Party. Lala Hardayal. Okay, again I will discuss. Lala Hardayal, Sohan Singh Bakna in 1913 and 14. They started at San Francisco, that's a Seattle region, that is called Ghadar Party. I think I discussed Ghadar Party. Okay, I am one by one. Right, Ghadar Party means this one. Right, this Ghadarist actually, right, Ghadarist were very famous in Canada and USA region. And what they did in Canada and USA, many Sikh people were there. Even today, you could see so many Sikh people are there in Canada and USA. They wanted to gather the support of such a people and fundraising. And for example, many Sikh people returned to India. And in America and Canada, they instigated the Sikh people, those who wanted to return to India. In America, they said, after returning to India, you commit revolutionary. Right, you do activity against the British. In that way, they polished the British people, those who are in America and Canada. Once such a people, right, return back to India, right, that people should go for revolutionary. In that way, the Ghadar Party made a great things. Ghadarist is very important. What you asked is exactly right. One thing. Second thing is why it is Ghadar is actually it is a newspaper, note it down. So the Ghadar is actually a newspaper, then only that name called Ghadar is derived. So actually it's a newspaper. Understood? Yes. So this is what related to Ghadar Party. I hope I clarified your question. And next come to 9th Archana. In 1935, what did it occurred for depressed class reservation of separate electorate? What is constitutional autocracy? In mock test, it was given that In 1935 Act gave for constitutional autocracy. Yes, please explain, sir. Yes, what is constitutional autocracy? Yes, first, depressed class reservation. Listen, already in 1932, communal award was given. That is reservation to the depressed class people. Communal award was given. That is reservation to depressed class people. But Pune Pact between Congress and depressed class people, not with the government. Government never accepted the Pune Pact. That's why what was mentioned by Ramsay MacDonald in 1932 in the communal award, the same was included into 1935 Act. Because just saying is not enough. Rather than one have to give constitutional status. That's why in 1935, what was given in the 1932 communal award, as mentioned by Ramsay MacDonald, it was given constitutional position by means of 1935 Act. First. Second, what is constitutional autocracy? Yes, listen. In 1935 only, the constitutional like setup government was established. That's why it is called constitutional. Understood? So in 1935, constitutional like government was established. But autocracy means the governor and viceroys were given exorbitant power. That is called autocracy. Governor and viceroy were given exorbitant power. Then what is the purpose? In a constitution, if you have constitution, no authority should have all the power into their hands. Power should be devolved. But here, one side you have given constitution, other side you accumulated entire power to whom is that governor and viceroy. That's why it mentioned as constitutional autocracy. Understood? So I hope I answered this. Yes. Next one asked, sir, which is the first INC session held in village? Anyone can answer? This is a one-word answer. Which is the first INC session held in village? No. Facebook is exactly right. Belgaum is wrong. Facebook is right. Exactly. So Facebook session in 1936 is the first session held in a village. Right. Next. See, our Trichy students mentioned it. What is ring fence? Ring fence policy I have already discussed. I hope, okay, again I'm explaining. What is ring fence policy is none other than it's like a buffer state. So it can be called as a buffer state or also called ring fence. The name itself is there. Actually, I am here. I should be protected means surrounding is, I would create a ring of what one fence. It's like your field. Throughout your field, you are putting the fence. Why? To protect your crop being destroyed by animals and cattle. Understood? That's what ring fence is, none other than buffer state. Actually, British would create a ring fence surrounding by so many Indian leaders to protect them. British territory, Awadh, Hyderabad, Delhi. These are all the territories acted as a buffer state. Understood? And this principle is called ring fence policy. So what you asked is none other than buffer state, but very important question, much expected question. And who was the first? Okay. What were the major act enacted? What were the major act enacted? Who is that? 955. Major act enacted by British. What kind of question is this? 955. That's what nearly 11 or 12 act we discussed. I'm very surprised of getting such a question. 1773 Act, 1784 Act. Okay. Next. 902. Why Hyder Ali included it? Included in treaty where only English and Marathas were fighting. Yeah. Treaty of Salbai was signed in 1792. Listen. Treaty of Salbai was signed in 1792 between English and Marathas, by which 20 years peace agreement was signed. 20 years peace agreement was signed. It is a friendship treaty. Am I right? It's a friendship treaty. It means that, right, listen, if any person, either so and so, whoever attacked Marathas and British, right, so what should be there? British and Marathas should help each other to fight against Hyder. Because by that time, Hyder was a common enemy to British. Not common enemy to British. That's why British wanted Marathas' help to fight against Hyder. Because by that time, second Mysore war was going. Yes. Next, Kalimuthu mentioned that, sir, regarding the trade dispute bill, suppression of the trade union and leftist. Yes. For what purpose to do so? Yes, simple. That's a question. His question is, why trade dispute bill, which is suppressed the union, trade union and leftist, means simple. By 1917, Russian Revolution. After Russian Revolution, many leftist movement, trade unions were started. Trade union means you all people know very well of this. Trade union started. That people are communist. Am I right? All are communist. That communists are highly opposite to whom is the capitalist. So simple. Communist always opposed to the capitalist. So trade union and the rise of left wing are always danger to British. That's why they wanted to suppress the trade union and the strikes, labor union and the leftist movement. That's why they brought the trade dispute bill. Already 2018 question, 2017 or 18 preliminary question, what Kalimuthu asked. And Trichy student mentioned this, Trivandrum student mentioned, the idea of Purna Swaraj was made by revolutionaries. We can't say like this. Idea of Purna Swaraj was there. It was insisted by revolutionaries rather than not first made. If it is so, your statement is wrong. Okay. Revolutionaries also made such a statement. Congress also made such a statement. But who at first Purna Swaraj mentioned means no answer. Till the 15 years of my experience, I have never come across it. Who was the first to put forward this revolution, Purna Swaraj as it? I have not come across. Okay. Next, Archana asked it. What would be the Gandhian political method? Okay. Passive resisted or extra constitutional method? In mock test, it was given that Gandhi followed passive. Yes, Gandhi always followed passive resistance. Passive resistance is none other than extremist concept. Not only extremist concept, Gandhi also followed the same thing. Yes, boycott. Boycott means what? Boycott of foreign goods. That's a non-cooperation. Correct. So Gandhiji followed passive resistance. Yes, non-cooperation. Gandhiji followed passive resistance or extra constitutional method. Gandhiji used both. So he used passive resistance as well as extra constitutional method. What is extra constitutional method is civil disobedience movement, because he purposefully disobeyed the salt law. So that's also right. Understood? Yes. So Gandhiji used passive resistance as well as Gandhiji used extra constitutional method also. Next, why India went for written constitution despite being under British? Yes. Super question. This may be asked in polity 10-mark question. So when British constitution itself was unwritten, why Indian constitution was written is overall approach of socio-political economic condition of Britain and India. So keep it in mind. When in Britain itself, they went for unwritten constitution because the political evolution of Britain was different and the political evolution of India was different. One. Socially, if you see, in Britain, single race, white people, single religion, Christianity, same thing. And by the time, right, their method of social thing is entirely different. But in the case of India, culturally diversified, ups and downs. All right, you should give upliftment by so many people. If you left unconstitutional, if you left unwritten constitution, mean In later course, it would pay for so many discriminations. So you have to write politically, you have to write socially. That's why. So Britain may have get written unwritten constitution, but for India, our political leaders, especially Ambedkar, Rajendra Prasad, Jawaharlal Nehru, decided to go for written constitution. And why not? We decided to go for written constitution after British left India. It was not drafted during British period. Sir, please, Plassey battle, English was commanded by Robert Clive. Buxar, Hector Munro. But dual government was introduced by Robert Clive after Buxar. Why, sir? Why means what kind of answer I can give to this is Hector Munro was just a commander. Hector Munro was not a governor. Keep it in mind. Yes. Then who was the governor? He alone could introduce that administration. So who was the governor at the time was Robert Clive. Battle of Buxar happened in 1764. Dual government happened made in 1765. At that time, Robert Clive was the governor of Bengal. That's why. Do you know? Right? That's the reason Robert Clive introduced dual government system. So Hector Munro was not the governor. He was just the commander of an army. He was not the administrative head. I hope I answered this. But it's a well question. It is Shiad. Why did the Congress session conducted even after President C.R. Das was put in prison and went with Hakim Ajmal Khan? Did any session conducted like this with acting president? Acting president, I have not come across it. No such acting. No such a thing. And to your first question, only Congress alone can answer. Otherwise, only C.R. Das or Hakim Ajmal Khan alone can answer. Regarding the second doubt question, did any session conduct like this with acting? As far as my knowledge, no such a session. Okay, next, Rubesh. Sir, apart from ease of administration, is there any specific reason for separation of Burma? Yes, one is ease of administration. Another reason is, listen, already in India, Indian National Congress was very famous and nationalism was going on. If Burma was also unified with India, remaining as unified main, such a nationalism may spread to Burma. That's why they wanted to cut the national movement, spread of national movement into Burma. That's why in 1935 Act they separated. Yes, good question. Right. Trivandrum student mentioned Purna Swaraj was first mentioned by M.N. Roy. That's why I said I will check it and I will come. First I will check. I will check. Yes. Next is so many questions. 1 minute. Yeah. So next is just a minute. In civil uprising, so many movements are there in spectrum. Other need to study. As I said already, don't study all the movements. Just confine to whatever I mentioned in the classroom and attend the test. In the test also, we will provide 1 or 2 moments. Just confine to that. Don't study all. Don't study. Except, right, deliberately given by me or in test. Sir, you said Sutanidhi, Govindpur, Kalikata are purchased, but Jamindari was introduced in 1793. Okay, good question. Keep it in mind. Jamindari system introduced in 1793 by the British. Even much before that, in India, so many Jamindars were there. Keep it in mind. This is super question. So Jamindars means two kind of Jamindar. One is the Jamindars from the ancient time. So since ancient time itself, so many Jamindars are there in India. Okay, even Maurya period Jamindar, Gupta period Jamindar, Delhi Sultanate period also Jamindars were there. Right, here you are right. In 1793, right, British also introduced the Jamindari system. It does not mean that British only introduced the Jamindari system in India. I mean, you are absolutely wrong. Very good question. Yes. How about Komakata Maru incident? Okay, have I not discussed Komakata Maru incident in your class? Type yes or no? No, okay, no, okay. Then definitely I should explain it. Yes. So listen, what is Komakata Maru incident? Yes, Komakata Maru is a ship. That's not it down. Sorry. Right, it's a very important topic. Right, Komakata Maru is a ship. It's a ship, right? A Japanese ship name. Yes, Japanese ship name. Hired by an Indian. Hired by an Indian. One thing, right? He hired it to transport the Indian people. To transport the Indian people to transport the Indian people from Singapore to Vancouver. From Singapore to Vancouver. Yes, here is Singapore. Right here. Yes, here USA, here Canada. In Canada, there is a place called Vancouver. Here is Canada, right? From Singapore to Vancouver to transport the Indians only, right? A person, right? Gurmit Singh or Gurdit Singh, okay? Gurmit or Gurdit, right? Hired a ship name. It is a Japanese ship name, just a Japanese ship name, okay? Nearly 200 to 300 members started to travel in the year 1914. Actually, this Komakata Maru incident happened in 1914-15. Yes. Right, 1914 and 15, right, the ship started to travel its journey. What is the purpose of 300 people mean? They should settle in Canada once for all. So they decided to settle in Canada. That's the reason for that. They decided to go. Okay, the ship was traveling all along the Pacific Ocean. When the ship was traveling all along the Pacific Ocean, what happened is First World War was started. Note it down. Most important topic. Okay, First World War was started. Yes, you knew very well. You knew very well of this, right? What you know is whenever war was started, what would happen is all the government would close their port. Port means this. All the government would close their port for civilian purpose because all will be used only for the military purpose, but so no for anything, no for this civil purpose. So Canada government closed the Vancouver port, but these people didn't know aware of this. So they were sailing towards it. And when that ship reached near Vancouver, it asked the Vancouver authority. It simply asked the Vancouver authority for entering into the ship. But the British government, Canadian government refused. Canadian government refused. The ship was not at all allowed. That's a very pathetic condition. The ship was in the high sea for 1 month or 10 to 15 days, it was there. You just imagine, if just to remain in the high sea without food means without water, what would happen? People started to drink the seawater at last. At last, they started to drink seawater. That the government was so adamant, Vancouver government was so adamant that it never accepted. So what the ship was forced to return back. Listen, forced to return back not to Singapore but to Calcutta. So Singapore to Vancouver to Calcutta. Okay, and with great hardship, the people came to. With a great hardship, the people came to Calcutta. There is a place called Baj Baj. There is a place called Baj Baj. But even here also, British government refused to include them. Right, you are all terrorists. We would not allow. That's why the people got tension, and even many jumped from the ship and started to swim to come to the shore. But that British government started to ask to fire its soldiers. So many people were killed. This is the pathetic condition of the ship called Komakata Maru and its people. Thank you, Subriya. Thank you so much. Actually, we are from Baj Baj. Are you from Baj Baj? Okay, thank you. Okay, right. That's the significance, right? That's the significance of Kamakata Maru. So why I am saying is exactly in 2015. So 100 years have been gone. 2015, the Canadian Prime Minister, because so many Indians now in the Canadian government, right? Canadian Prime Minister openly apologized for this statement, for this event. I expect this one at the time, but no such a question has been asked. Yes, Trudeau. Yes, exactly. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, right, openly apologized for this incident. Got it? This is what is important. So Kamakata Maru, completely go through. Budge, these things. 1 minute. Next I come to. Because I have been given with voluminous question. Yes, one student asked it. What is carrot and stick policy? Yes, exactly. Yourself mentioned it. Carrot mean consistent, stick mean represent. Exactly right. That's its a concept. Zimmermann plan. Actually, Zimmermann was a German uh, chancellor or German minister. So he provided a plan that is called Zimmermann plan, right? So he was a German during the First World War. During the First World War, he provided a plan to the colonies actually, especially the British colonies, India and other countries, British related colony. He made a plan that is called Zimmermann plan related to the self-government or independence of such a colonies. So that's the significance of Zimmermann. So Zimmermann was a German. I hope he was a prime minister, chancellor or one of the minister, right? He wanted to liberate the British colonies from the Britain. That's a concept called Zimmermann plan. Sir, the president election of Congress was direct or indirect? Yes, always by means of voting. Yes. I forgot to mention in the first initial stage itself, all the president was indirect or indirect mean direct that to election. That's why I said in that session 1939, election was held between the two. In NCERT book, next, Trivandrum student. in NCERT book, it is said Syed brothers are after accession of Farooq Sir abolished jizya, and also mentioned Zulfikar Khan along with Jahandar Shah abolished. Who reintroduced? Actually, listen, two kind of that too. I explained it in the classroom itself. I hope. Otherwise, I will explain. Listen. Question: which of the ruler abolished jizya system in later Mughals? Mean Jahandar Shah. Yes. Now, during Farooq Sayyid period, Syed brother abolished jizya tax. That's also right. Keep it in mind. Farooq Sayyid didn't abolish. During the Farooq Sayyid period, Syed brothers also said. It means that after Jahandar Shah, in some part of the places, right, this jizya tax might have been collected. So what Syed brother did it, they again abolished it. Based on the question and the statement, you have to answer. Keep it in mind. So if the question is which of the following later Mughal ruler abolished jizya tax, means it is Jahandar Shah. If the statement is like this, during Farooq Sayyid period, Syed brother abolished jizya tax. That's also right. What about Famine Commission, sir? It is important or no? Yes. Please kindly go through the Famine Commission. Right. Since I couldn't explain about it, definitely you should study of the Famine Commissions. Right. What are all the various Famine Commissions? What is Indian Press Act 1931? Dachshini mentioned that Indian Press Act is mentioned exclusively to suppress civil disobedience movement. That is the answer to Dachshini. It is a heavy suppression on the Indian press exclusively to suppress the civil disobedience movement, because 1931 civil disobedience movement was going on. The government decided to suppress the civil disobedience movement and its freedom of speech. Actually, the Indian Press Act reason is this: wanted to suppress the freedom of speech and the civil disobedience movement. Okay. I try to convey the major act means abolition of sati like that. Okay. No, that are not major act. That are all minor act. Abolition of sati, abolition of widow remarriages act. These are all the minor. Major act means 1773, 1784. That are all the major acts. Okay. Next. 2014580. Sir, Plassey. Okay, already we discussed it. Robert Clive. What about Famine Commission we mentioned? Plassey, but again the same question mentioned that. Nikshida mentioned, sir, you said National Planning Committee. Yes. You mentioned the year 1938, but in Spectrum book, it's mentioned as 1936. No, wrong. 1936 National Planning Committee is wrong. Actually, in Spectrum book, right, year is mentioned like this, right, and the committees are mentioned like this. Actually, it's wrong, because in that resolution, right, that typo error, it is not like this. It's not like this. 1936, 1938 mentioned like this. President is mentioned like this. It's like this. But importance is given here. Actually, it should be like this. So in that important reference, they have given informations just upward. So that is exactly 1938 only. There's no doubt at all. Okay. Next question. Do we need to know about Special Marriage Act? Yes. Just to go through. Arvind, go through. Special Marriage Act. Sir, all British governor activities will be studied, or any particular important governor general? Okay. Actually, this one, 6372. This kind of governor general, what's important, what not. Only through trial and error, through attending the test, you could have an idea. Till that, it's difficult. Right, but you have to study. If you want to note it down, what kind of governor general you have to know of this? Robert Clive, Warren Hastings, note it down. Warren Hastings, Cornwallis, Wellesley, William Bendick, Dalhousie. Governor General Vice. Viceroy Vice, note it down. Viceroy Vice, Lord Canning, Lord Lytton, Lyton, Lord Lytton, Ripon, Lord Ripon, Curzon, taken, Minto, Lord Irwin, Lord Mountbatten. For mains perspective, for preliminary perspective, you should know the chronological order. Right? Chronological order. Yes. Next is. Sir, is coal uprising, Rampa, Santal, like other uprising not mentioned in the class? Santals I mentioned it. Coal I have not mentioned. Rampa. Coal uprising you study. That's important. Rampa, I don't know how far it's important. That's why I said Santal I mentioned that. Right. If it is asked in our test paper, then you go through that. Otherwise, still put on hold. And again, I answered Plassey battle was commanded by Clive. I answered it. Buxar, Clive said, okay. National Planning Commission is mentioned. I answered it. Sir, can you give significance of communist role in freedom struggle? Yes. That's why now only I said communism, Govinda, right? Govardhan. Yes. Communism, capitalism, diagonally opposed. British, a capitalist country. Keep it in mind. British, a capitalist country. Outcome of capitalism is colonialism. These are all idea. So outcome of capitalism is colonialism. Communism is diagonally opposed to the capitalism. It means that communists should fight against the British, especially in India. Communists should fight against the British to expel British from India. So they have the significance of the communist role. Communist Party of India was started. That's the significance. Then conspiracy happened, Bolshevik conspiracy. You might have come across in the Spectrum book. Kanpur conspiracy, Meerut conspiracy. Likewise, so many conspiracies happened, right? All because of communists. They play important role to expel the British from India. Yes. Next. C.R. Das, Purna Swaraj, already mentioned that. First revolutionary movement. In the first revolutionary movement, their aim versus, yes, that's right. Sadat, father of Sadat Khan, is a Chanda Sahib who is Chanda Sahib's. No. Sadat Khan's son is Chanda Sahib. Right? Chanda Sahib's son is not Sadat Khan. Okay, Varshika. So Sadat Khan, right? His son is Chanda Sahib. Right. Next. Is there any necessary to write template like why, who, method, struggle writing, right, without mentioning the topic? Yes, it's best to mention the template, but not all the questions. One or two questions you meant about the template, but don't mention all. When Indian people started to participate in election in CLA and PLAs, okay. When Indian people started to participate, that's why I said in 1892 itself. And also, what is the significance of Swaraj Party participating in election and INC participate? Swaraj Party participated to get to Swaraj. That's why I said this 1923. Their aim is to attain Swaraj, to become a member. After becoming a member, they can shout it in front of the assembly and inside the assembly. That's the purpose of Swaraj Party to contest in election. INC wise, the same thing. So INC also entered, right? So by entering into power, you can easily get Swaraj. But Swaraj much earlier, participation of election, INC much later. Next, Trivandrum student. Only 1929 Congress come up with Purna Swaraj? Yes, exactly. No doubt at all. Sweta, sir, will you cover anything new after this or only doubts? Hereafter only doubts. Sir, related to newspaper, you said some newspaper, you mentioned some more points, and in some newspaper you mentioned only points only. So if they ask means it's enough. Yes, it's enough. Enough, more than enough. And that's why I said you whatever the newspaper act I mentioned it, right? Whatever the newspaper I mentioned, with this you could easily manage. When did INC and Muslim League separate away from each other after joining it? 1960. Okay. Not joining it, not together, never joined together. They conducted the session in the same venue, but after that itself, 1921 or 22, especially Khilafat movement is there. Once the Khilafat movement, non-cooperation movement was gradually failed and over, then 1920 to 23 onwards, again the rift started between Congress and Muslim League, between the two. Can we say that, one Arvind, can we say that after his release from NCM arrest, that Gandhiji was inactive from 1922 to 1930? No, you can't say. How could you say 1924 session himself the president? So it's wrong. Please explain the stand of Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj of doctrine of humanism, universal acceptance, casteism. Archana, if I want to discuss this, I have to discuss for 45 minutes, 1 hour. Western education. Western education wise, I said all accepted. Point number 5, all accepted. Casteism wise, I said all rejected. Acceptance of ancient script, all accepted, but the veracity, not veracity, that's that intensity different. In the case of Brahma Samaj, accepted. Sorry, Arya Samaj accepted ancient script. Brahma Samaj partially accepted. Ramakrishna Mission accepted. Differs. Universalization of religion, all accepted. All. Doctrine of humanism and reason, all accepted. So, first point accepted. Only difference is the casteism, ancient scripture. Okay. And next is how to know which points are important for brilliance and while we read in the book. Any tips? Oh, yes, only tips. Attend the class, study my class notes, write the test. That's the only tips. And last tip is study. Apart from that, nothing. Nothing is there. Okay. And next is sir, National Planning Committee you mentioned already. I mentioned Nikshita. Why? What about the famine commissions? Important? Yes. I am following. One student mentioned Makesh. I am following Spectrum currently for modern history, but some questions ask modern history prelims test is missing on Spectrum. But Shia modern booklet sent by Academy. Should we study now? No, no. For that, don't study so many books. Rather, you study Spectrum and the NCERT. That's enough. Sir, can you explain why Panipat failed? This you will be discussed during the ancient medieval. It's already 2015 question, UPSC 10 mark question. Why Panipat is the field? I have discussed only the third battle of Panipat. Once first and second battle are over, it will be discussed in ancient and medieval. Already it's a UPSC question. Shia 20622234. Good. Riya Trichy. Sir, can you say how to start reading Spectrum? Why? Why like this question by that to by the time? Modern India is over by the time. Now you are asking. My class notes, first unit. Go through the Spectrum, you study whatever I have discussed. Second unit, you search in Spectrum. Third unit of my class notes, likewise you have to study. So don't study unit after unit in Spectrum. Right? First unit, second unit. Rather than study based on what I have taken in that Spectrum book. Yes. Was George Yule, again Nikshida question, same question answer. Was George Yule the first president of, against non-Indian president? Yes. George Yule, a British person. Yes, non-Indian. He was a foreigner. Yes, yes. Right. Again, sir, is Andaman Nicobar annexed and named as Swaraj? Yes, by INA, sir. Yes, yes. Correct. Andaman Nicobar was annexed by Subhash Chandra Bose, INA. Exactly right. Sir, you said Licensing Regulation Act was introduced by Governor General, but it was during Lord Hastings and William Bentinck. No. At the time, William Bentinck, 1923. At the time, Lord Hastings left. At the time, John Adams. William Bentinck much later. William Bentinck only in 1928. Okay, William Bentinck is wrong. Lord Hastings is also wrong. Exactly John Adams, because by that time he was acting Governor General. Bikaji Kama role in Shruti mentioned that Trivandrum. Can you explain Bikaji Kama role in freedom movement? Yeah, definitely. Sir, now note it down. Madam Bikaji Kama. She was a Parsi. First point, she was a Parsi. Right? One, she worked under Dadabhai Naoroji. Second point. A Parsi woman. She worked under Dadabhai Naoroji. Second point. Third point. Second. Third point is she created or promoted national movement in Europe, especially in Berlin. In Germany, she promoted Indian nationalism, especially during First World War. During First World War. Okay, and she also hoisted national flag. Even some said she also developed a tricolor flag. She also hoisted a tricolor flag. Yes. So I hope Shruti I answered. That's the role of Bikaji Kama. So she promoted national movement in Germany, especially during First World War. And she also started a newspaper in the same name, Vande Mataram. Note it down. So Vande Mataram newspaper are two. One is by Aravind Ghosh in India. Another is the Bikaji Kama in Germany. These two. Sir, can you tell Greater Nagaland in relationship with Indian history? Yeah, Shiad. I will discuss the same thing in post-independent consolidation. I will explain of Greater Nagaland. Sir, you make student to unmute and ask. Yes, I make the student, but you may ask. You may ask question. Please raise your hand. You may raise your hand and you may, because I asked the student unmute it and ask question. But here what happened is no one is ready to come to mic and no one is ready to come to video. Those who are interested, just raise your hand. Rather than simply reading the question, I am answering in one way. If you able to speak, definitely it will be useful to reach it to all. Just raise your hands. One by one, I will say the name. Then you come to mic, come to video. So you may ask question. So it may reach to all. No one. Yeah, I hope. Varshika, no one is interested to come. If you have interest, you may come. Yes, I think no one is interested. And so many questions they typed it. Yes, no Varshika. Okay, I'll go through. Purna Swaraj was must mentioned by, okay, it's a point. Sir, you said WC Banerjee didn't attend the first. No, I never said, Gokul, I never said it. WC Banerjee never attended. Surendranath Banerjee didn't attend at the first session, not sir, WC Banerjee. Okay. Next, Arun. How much marks are bonus for those using history optional? Will it be a big different for those who are using history optional point in? Yes, definitely you will get extra points because the same portion for both in mains as well as for optional. GS1 as well as history optional topic is one and the same. If you studied history optional very well, you will get nearly 30 to 40 marks. You will get it because you no need to study separate for GS history.
சார் ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ணவங்களெல்லாம் எனேபிள் பண்ண சொல்றாங்க.
ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் யாருமே பண்ணலையா?
பண்ணிருக்காங்க சார், 7 பேர் பண்ணிருக்காங்க.
எங்க இருக்கு?
ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க சார் பசங்க. எனேபிள் பண்ணவா?
எனேபிள் பண்ணுங்க.
ஓகே சார்.
ஒன் பை ஒன் எனேபிள் பண்ணுங்க.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this is Archana.
Yes, Archana.
Sir, my question is again regarding that social religious reform movements.
Okay.
Sir, could you please just tell me about the stand of Brahmo and Arya and Ramakrishna mission on caste system and Western education alone?
Actually, casteism wise, all the association opposed it. That's no doubt. All the three. But education wise, Western education almost all accepted. Western education wise, no doubt. Western culture or not, in that only Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj differs. Education wise, all accepted. That's why whether it's a revivalist or reformist are all accepted education wise. There's no doubt at all. Right. Ancient textbook wise, Arya Samaj said that Vedas are supreme. But Brahma Samaj never said Vedas are supreme. It said Vedas are good, but not Vedas are supreme. Ramakrishna mentioned about Vedantas are supreme, not Vedas. Vedantas are supreme.
Okay. Sir, regarding Arya Samaj, Dayanand Saraswati, he accepted this Chaturvarna system, but he was opposing untouchability. So,
Yeah.
we say that he accepted caste system, but he didn't. He was opposing the authority of the caste system.
Yes, that's what. Regarding the accepted Chaturvarna means he is invariably accepting the caste system, but he opposed the untouchability. What you said is right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Ji.
Yes.
Could you please tell us what are the things that we should employ while we are writing prelims? There are certain things, right? How to eliminate certain options and all. Even if we don't know every 4 points is true or false, we can use some method to eliminate them. How to do that?
Yeah. For preliminary wise, exactly what you said is right. It's difficult to get the answer for 100 out of 100. If you see if you go through the question at the first site, out of 100, you can answer exactly the 20 question or 25 question. Remaining question, you should go for elimination process. Exactly. Elimination process is a good technique. What is the method is, instead of searching for the answer, you search which is not answer. That is exactly right. Right, because nearly 45 question you have to write answer which is not the correct choice. Right, one, this is elimination process, but elimination process would not come overnight. Try to practice at least 4 to 5 questions in the test itself. You try to go for such elimination process, then only you can apply the same thing in exams. Right, but for answering elimination process, you should study in chronological manner. If you don't study chronological manner in an orderly fashion, you can't answer it elimination method.
Okay, so while writing the answer, I have to think which is not the answer.
Yeah. If you knew which is answer, exact answer, don't go for which is not answer. Right? If you don't know, I don't know exact answer mean, then you go for which is not the answer. Then you will get which is the answer automatically would come.
Okay, Ji. Ji, I have another query. This is regarding one of the questions that I came across while doing our academy test. That is during Wahhabi movement. It was the reason that the British started enforcing sedition law in India. Waliullah movement or this movement. So this point is not in Spectrum book itself when I went through that. So how to deal with these kind of questions, which is not in our book?
Actually, major questions would be there in 12th NCERT, otherwise Spectrum. But 1 or 2 questions are from history optional. We have taken it. For that, you don't study history optional book. If such a questions are there, you just by heart it. Okay, this is also a statement. This is also an answer. That alone is enough. For that, you don't go through any extra books.
Okay, Ji. One thing, I have some doubt regarding choosing option. I will mail you regarding that. Could you please revert back when you are free?
Yeah, definitely you can. Already I have held history optional demo classes. Is there available in the Telegram group?
Yeah, I saw that. I still have some doubt. That's
yes.
I'll mail you my doubt.
Okay. Actually, only thing is, in the case of optional history, only thing I have to show, if you wish to attend, you just come from first day. Don't, because last week it should have been started, but on the same date some other optional demo classes are there. That's why many candidate may miss that first class. That's why we postponed it to September 4. So one thing regarding my optional is, from the day one is important. Second thing is, regarding choosing history as an optional, first thing, interest should be there. If you have interest, then not at all a matter. You blindly choose that, then I will look after. And the third is, don't go through the 2 things. Right? Even in my video itself I mentioned that just because of syllabus is vast, I am not at all taking. It's wrong, absolutely wrong. Okay, because if the syllabus is less, so many hidden topics. If syllabus is vast, it's given. All the topics are given. So these are all the basic things. Apart from that, what kind do you want?
I am just afraid. I went to the syllabus. As you said that whatever we discuss in modern India, in GS only it is there in that.
Yes.
And maybe it is analytical part which we have to concentrate more on. Means that is fine.
Yeah.
What I am afraid is about this ancient and medieval India. As of now, I'm not very good at remembering the cultures in India, the functions, art and culture. These things I'm not well aware of. So it is kind of, see, as they say, people are afraid of what they don't know. I'm also afraid of the things. Will I have to remember a lot of things in history, like name-wise, event-wise? That
No, not that much of things. Actually, history for preliminary is different with the history for mains. History for mains is more analytical than factual information, right? So more analysis means for a page, it is enough to give 1 year. It is enough to give one personality. It is enough to give one place. That's all. Beyond that, you should give more simplified storytelling wise. So if you're able to write storytelling wise, that's enough rather than flooded with fact. That's a much difference between history prelims and history optional.
Okay, one of your student Abhishek who came in that video said that we will have this map kind of question and we will have to mug up a lot of things in order to put that in map. Is that we have to mug up a lot of things in history?
No. What way you have to mug it up is you should not study the map places separately. For example, while studying ancient India, for example, while studying Paleolithic, myself will discuss in this place is important, in this place Paleolithic tools. Rather than mugging up the place separately, while discussing the classroom itself, I will ask you to bring that book. In that, while discussing that chapter, we will study along with that rather than separately mugging up. We would not do like this.
Okay. Ji, how many months are we expecting to complete this history options by Jan?
By December, I will complete. I will
like
complete
everything, complete
every
options.
complete thing. You see that modern India wise, that's all over. Here itself over. I will have just 6 class, 7 class in optional. Right.
Okay.
Right. First on September, I will start with world history because for GS, I am not at all taking world history. Since I will not take for GS world history, ancient, medieval, I will not take it. So what I will take it means in optional, first we will complete world history. So September 4, I will start with world history, modern world history, 1 month, right? September, October wise, ancient, November wise, medieval, December 2 weeks, modern India. That's all over.
Okay.
That's a method because whatever I am not discussing the earliest in GS, I will completely handle in optional because in GS I will handle only modern India and post independence. These two part all that optional students should attend in GS. There is no difference, right? In world history, since I am not taking it, I will take it here in optional. I will start like this.
Okay. Thank you. That was my. Thank you very much.
And one thing is, since many candidates are there, right? So once if you wish to attend my class, optional classes, attend from the day one itself, right? Once those who wish to have, will have a separate Telegram group itself, right? And whatever the information, you can post the question there. In the case of optional, we'll have the group. In that group, we will interact with each other. Okay. Yes, next.
Okay.
Next mic enable panna.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my doubt is regarding whether there is any pattern for selection of a particular place as a Congress session, sir. Whether there is some criteria, sir.
Definitely some criteria are there. Only one criteria I come to know is there is no particular place rather than they should penetrate nook and corner of India. That's why they randomly choose a place. No place in India, no region in India should be left. That is the only aim of Congress.
Okay, sir. And my next doubt is, sir, you said that in each session of Congress, one national aspect like Purna Swaraj, or they should expel the British, like that they are adopting, sir. Apart from the national aspect, would they also include the regional problems as a resolution, sir? If they held it in Madras session, some problems of the region, would that also be included in the resolution, sir?
Yeah, resolution. But we are not studying in national level. If you study TNPC like that, if any of the sessions are in Madras, what are all the problems of Madras are sorted out, that would be fun TNPC, but national level, only national level agenda alone are mentioned in the books.
Okay, sir. Sir, and my last doubt is, sir, what is the language for communication, sir, in the Congress session? Whether they would always stress upon Hindi, or when it comes to South India, would they elect a Tamil leader, and then would that be some kind of criteria, sir?
Yeah. Actually, based on the session and its place one, right? Because if it's so many people are common man, they would definitely go for the local. Sometimes they may have translator also, English translators, and even the regional translators also.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. That's all, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have a doubt regarding Montague statement 1917. Sir, already Montague statementல home rule கொடுத்துட்டாங்கல்ல சார் 1917ல. பட் ஸ்வராஜ் வந்து இது நான் கோஆபரேஷன் மூவ்மெண்ட்ல அல்டிமேட் எய்ம் வந்து ஸ்வராஜ் அப்படின்னு எழுதி இருக்கும். ஆல்ரெடி தான் கொடுத்துட்டாங்கல்ல சார் 1917ல.
சொல்லி இருக்காங்க, ஆனா கொடுக்கல.
ஓ,
சொல்லிக்கிட்டே தான் இருக்காங்க, நாங்க கொடுப்போம் கொடுக்கல.
ஓகே சார்.
எஸ், நெக்ஸ்ட். தேங்க் யூ.
Rudy.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my doubt is, sir, after the Nehru report, Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, they started the Independence of India League. So what was the fate of that organization, sir? What happened to that after 1928?
Yes, actually, in 1928, till 1928, Congress aim was not to get Purna Swaraj. But these two leaders were eager to get Purna Swaraj. That's why joined to the For India Independence League. That organization was started. That's the main reason. That was successful in 1929 session itself.
Okay, sir. Sir, how did this organization end up? Means they to form this organization. So, what was its role? I mean, for the freedom movement, and did it play any role or?
That's why I said, aim of Congress was Swaraj, but these two leaders wanted to get Purna Swaraj. So
Okay,
they
sir.
insisted the Congress leader to go for and acceptance of Purna Swaraj. That itself was successful in 1929. Because of their pressure only, the Congress next year accepted, make resolution to get Purna Swaraj. That's a great.
Okay, sir. So no further movements.
No,
that one.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, my optional is history, but I would be Trivandrum, sir. But sir, thank you so much, sir, because when I entered class, I had so many doubts about especially modern India part. So thank you so much, sir. Your classes were really helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So should we have to study the books and authors written by the authors like national leaders? Will that be asked in prelims, like in the match the following and all?
Rarest of rare, they are asking it. But for that, don't study all the books. Attend the class, attend the test. Whatever the books given, mug up that. Beyond that, if it is asked, beyond our scope.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Sir, could you please repeat the carrot and stick policy?
Carrot means if you committed a good thing in favor of me, not for all. If you did in favor of me, carrot. If you did something against me, then stick would come.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My doubt is, what about the Gandhi?
1 minute. Yes.
So what is Gandhi's seventh sins? It was asked in one of the previous questions in mains.
7 sins myself. I will go through that.
Okay, so it was asked in one of the previous year mains question.
Okay.
So another doubt is, why did the Liaquat Pact fail, sir? Desai Liaquat Pact.
Actually, Rajaji formula and Liaquat Desai pacts are because a deadlock between Congress and Muslim League. always deadlock. One side Congress against partition, Muslim League was in favor of two nation theory, and whatever the opportunity provided by the government was not accepted by both the parties. If one party accepted, other party rejected. So to bring to end such a deadlock only, one from Liaquat from Muslim League, one from Congress formulated a policy so that it would be acceptable by both the parties. That's called Liaquat, that part.
Okay, sir. Sir, I only answered the Femin Commission question. So, what all the Femin Commission should be study or any important one?
Yeah, now go through all because it's a 20-mark question, 15-mark question, 4th in history optional as well as in GS. Go through.
Okay, sir. Then what about the labor reforms? Sir? There are some Factories Act.
Factory Act alone go through. Don't go through the entire thing.
Okay, so then what about the Lee Commission, that Linlithgow statement?
Lee Commission is civil service. I think I already discussed in that classroom itself. Lee Commission is important.
இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாமே கமிஷன்ஸ்லாம் ஆல்ரெடி பாத்துக்கணுமா சார்?
இல்ல எல்லாத்தையும் பார்க்காதீங்க, நிறைய இருக்கு. எல்லா கமிஷன் பாத்தீங்கன்னா மாட்டிக்கிடுவீங்க. அது எப்படின்னா வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க, கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா. நான் இப்ப 2 சொல்லியிருக்கேன், அப்புறம் 2-3 டெஸ்ட்ல ஏதாவது கேட்பாங்க. எல்லா கமிஷனையும் பார்க்காதீங்க. அதனாலதான் ஃபர்ஸ்டே நடத்தாம அப்படியே சொல்லாம விட்டுட்டோம். நீங்க எல்லா கமிஷனையும் படிச்சுட்டு இருந்தீங்கன்னா கஷ்டம்.
ஓகே சார், ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ சார்.
தேங்க்யூ
சார். அவ்வளவுதான் சார்.
ஓகே ரைட். So study well, right? If any other clarification in another session, we will make it. Thank you.